Welcome back to Dads Against the Narrative, the show where we cut through all the noise, challenge the status quo, and talk real talk about life, family, and the world all around us. Guys, it's me and Nate today, and we're bringing you the current events. I know a lot of people have waited for this show, and we're going to bring it. A lot's going on in the world, and we're getting back to catching up to reality. So, Nate, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, man. I honestly feel like I've been sitting just scrolling. I feel like I'm getting angrier and angrier. And if I don't feel right, it's because I haven't been on my phone long enough to get angry enough at the stuff that's going on. So I'm like, I feel like if you've ever heard Dan Cummins, he talks about how when he feels uncomfortable being happy. So because he's such a dark human, he's a dark comic, and he's like, yeah. So then I just go on Facebook and scroll until I'm angry again, and I feel right. I feel like the current situation of at least the United States has gotten me to be like, all I do is scroll and get pissed off, and then I'm like, what do I have to do something? Because the last thing I want to be is the guy that's like, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong, but I'm just like saying it to my wife and not doing anything about it. It's driving me crazy. I've been trying to close down Christmas lights, and here we are. We're recording this on February 5th, and I'm still trying to close down Christmas lights. That's a good problem to have. It's also frustrating because we've had snow and I can't get on roofs then. But I'm like trying to close it down so I can get back to normal life. And I'm doing, so I'm just like, I got to talk about this stuff. We got to get this out. But I think what I really have been focused on is it feels like it's a constant drip of just chaos and anarchy, chaos, and then and fear, and then just anger, just all around that. And I know I kind of feel like I fall into it, but I gotta say, man, I feel like whoever's pulling the strings, they're trying to create the narrative that is pushing us to just hating each other and all of that, all while they're doing other things underneath. I even feel like this Epstein drop, apparently it was leaked, and supposedly someone's like, yeah, Trump's upset about it, and I'm like, why? We voted for you to like release that so that we could also see these people come to justice and all that. But I'm also like, that's still not the thing. I feel like Nick Shirley hit what really is the problem in the United States, and they're dropping all this stuff to just be like, don't look at the man behind, don't look at all the fraud behind the curtain. Like, be mad about Epstein, be mad about this, which it's all fucking just sick and disgusting. But there's so much to get through that I even find myself forgetting that I think the number one thing I should be requiring is what is going on with our money? Like, what are you doing with our money, you assholes? you know?
Oh, facts, dude. I mean, to me, and before I get going, guys, before I go on a tangent or anything, I just want to remind everyone the way we push through this is taking care of our family, taking care of ourselves, still stay on your routines, still stay healthy and strong, keep your mental strong, because you're going to need all of this coming up in the future. Maybe some bigger events are coming, and that's what it looks like. But I just want to remind everyone with all this shit going on, just don't jump in there and believe everything either.
Uh-huh.
So sit back. If you want to go into those rabbit holes and research it, do that. And I know
Mhm.
for the people who are brand new to this show or brand new to conspiracies, welcome. I know it's a lot. And when you first wake up, it can be a shock. It can shock your entire nervous system, and you're very dysregulated, and you want to just kill everybody, dude. Like, especially all the fucking names are popping up as pedophiles and all this bullshit. And when you read that and see all the shit that's going on, this is the time. All of those days you were staying disciplined and consistent pay off. You need to stay grounded, focused, because we can't go forward with you dysregulated or me dysregulated or Nate dysregulated. We need to be squared the fuck away because whoever's coming next, we need to be able to unite. And I really, truly believe it starts at home, taking care of our family, making sure our kids aren't going to be victims of this shit. So,
Right.
that being said, yes, Nate, this is a fucking whirlwind. And the thing is they've had these Epstein files for how long? We don't know what they did or what they tampered with. We've seen how much is redacted. A lot of names are redacted. And then you have people like Ben Shapiro coming out stating that, oh, we don't really know anything. You can't get any information from it. You really can't take anyone out because, and of course, who pays Ben Shapiro? We know it's AIPAC, and
Mhm.
he's a huge Israeli fucking dual citizen. So, that being said, always look at who's saying what. if they have dual citizenship, what they are. But the big thing right now we're seeing, I think for me, that's getting me really pissed off is there's zero accountability again. There's
Dude.
never accountability in the country of the United States of America or any of the Western countries. They just allow the fucking anarchy to keep going. But now we've seen the system was created by these fucking sick pedophiles for sick pedophiles and all constructed for them. None of it is for the people. So
Right.
a lot of people who've been in this space, we're not shocked. I'm not shocked. And don't get me wrong, I read stuff and it disgusts me. And I don't like to see that. I don't let my family read it. I tell my wife to stay away from it. But
Yep.
I'm the man of the house. I'm the leader. I'm going to lead the family if we need to go somewhere else, if we need to push through, if we, whatever it is, it's mine to hold, not my family's. So that's one thing. But it's tough, man. Reading some of this shit is like, you sick fucks. But also, don't forget, part of their religion to Baal is saying what they're going to do. So a
Hmm.
lot of people are speculating that that's just the move they're doing is saying, hey, here's what we've done, here's what we're doing. So now we are free from the chains and we're actually able to continue doing what we're doing.
Yeah. I think the number one thing there is the accountability. And I know I keep coming back to like, okay, there's accountability necessary. And then I'm like, okay, was this utilized as blackmail to force leaders of our country to do what they're doing to, and if that's the case, then we have a whole other problem. Yes, the pedophilia thing, the sick, twisted like Baal worship, that shit is fucked up. But if it's used to get our leadership to do stuff that they wouldn't normally do that's against like us, now we have a whole other problem. We have a whole other problem because now you can't trust anyone in there, and they're you can't trust that they're ever making decisions based on the good of the people, which I mean I feel like I've never really trusted anyways. um but it's just one of those things where I'm like, it's not just, I mean, the the acts are horrific. But I mean, I remember seeing a video of a girl talking about this. I want to say she was being interviewed on like, okay, I'm old, like Montel, something like that, like some old school talk show. And she's like, yeah, they would force, as a kid, as a young one, they would force me to get pregnant, and then they would take my baby from me and they would use it for this. And I can tell you right now that the response then, because we didn't have so much information from the internet, was so horrified that your instincts, and I think we've said this in the past, your instincts are to go, that can't be true because it's so horrific. And yet here we are, all this stuff comes out, and you're like, yeah, I'm not really surprised. We've been saying that for years, that this is what's been going on. And it's been easy to quote unquote deny, just because everyone's gut reaction is there's no way that that's happening. There's no way that this is what's going on.
Yeah. And I think that's the big reason for any, especially fathers out there. This is why we talk about deschooling dad,
Mm.
forgetting what we were programmed with, because
Yes.
we, Nate, me, we've all been programmed, guys. And believe me, every time I relearn something, I'm like, fuck, I come with a whole new vision and new perspective. And I'm like, wow, I never would have even thought about that way if I didn't deschool myself and forget a lot of the shit that I was programmed with. And I want to take this back a little bit, guys, because what this made me do when I saw these is say, well, now we know that the state of Israel and the Mossad is running the United States. The United States is a shell for them. When the fuck did that happen, though? So for me, guys, you guys know I like to go deep down the rabbit holes. I thought it was right around the turn of the 20th century, and when the Rothschilds really took over, when you had Rockefeller teaming up with them and JP Morgan teamed up with them, and they're getting rid of people who crashed the Titanic on purpose to get rid of some of the other rich people. So it's like, I thought that was it. So I started digging deeper, Nate. And I went all the way back to the year 1492.
Mm.
And this is what surprised the fuck out of me.
Dude,
Dude,
yeah.
Columbus was Jewish?
Yeah, I
What the
never heard
fuck?
that either. I never heard that before.
What the fuck? Bro, and you're telling me the year 1492, Spain just kicked out the Jews. It was like the 110th country they were removed from.
Mm-hmm.
And so what did they do? They got on a ship and they sailed to what is now Americas, which at that time was already kind of built up, and people don't want to admit that. But when you look at the Moors, the Native Americans were working with the Moors. The Moors were already there, and the Moors originally started in Gibraltar, or however you say that.
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, yeah. So they've already made it all the way there. So holy shit. That's when my mind was like, wait a second. All right, so 1492. Now I'm putting this in perspective. All right, Christopher Columbus was a Jew. That probably means everyone on his ship was probably Jewish and came over with that same mindset. All right, well, let's skip to the slave trade. Holy shit. Nate, I was shocked again. Guys, I haven't dug deep on all of these. I'm just trying to figure out like when the fuck did this all happen? It
Mm-hmm.
happened from the very beginning. The slave trade, every slave came from a Jewish boat. Did you know that? I did
Mm-hmm.
not know that. And
Yeah.
and if you guys didn't know, like slaves, like when people are like, oh, we're all African American, that happened later on where they just mumbled the Moors and the Africans together and said because they all have darker skin, they're all the same type of people. But the
Mm-hmm.
Moors were very prestigious and very noble people. And the African slaves were traded by their own people into the Jewish ships, and the Jews brought them over. Bro, my mind was like, what the fuck? So how long have these motherfuckers been running it? Then you go into all the wars from Revolutionary on, and it's like all the banks were already controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get into the world wars, blew my mind. As you know, like I've been digging into World War II, especially because I'm a World War One major. I already knew about like them all being tied together, all the kings and tsars and all of them were related, and they kind of set this all up already. But World War II was a total fucking fake. I didn't even realize that. As a history major, guys, this is what I'm talking about with deschooling. I had to go back and I've read tons of books on World War II. I've studied it in depth in university, and I had to be shocked a little bit and also question my own fucking like, am I reading this right? But then I went into who wrote the books for universities and into the school system. And then you find out it's Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell. He
Yeah.
did all the books. Who is he? Jewish. Bro,
He's Mossad.
yes,
Yeah.
Mossad. So you go into all of it further and further. CIA was made, then NASA and Mossad. It's all it all just comes back together. I know you guys have heard mine and Nate do a flat earth show, but then like it all makes sense. They've been staging this not for fucking 10 years, hundreds of years. They've been very patient of what they want. And that's how they're able to blur the lines. And they've blurred them so much and muddied the water so much that they've got everyone panicked. They have everyone barely surviving. And now they're like, it's perfect time. Drop the Epstein files. No one can do shit because people are barely surviving and they're already divided. So
Yep.
now what do we do? And that's why I say it always comes back to family. It comes back to yourselves. But yeah, guys, absolutely shocked on many of these accounts. And that's what made me do. When I saw the Epstein files, I'm like, I need to go back and figure out where the fuck this started. I still don't have an answer because like
Yep.
if it's 1492, now I need to go further back and really like fuck.
Yeah. Chances are what you're going to find is 70 AD was where the diaspora got smashed out. The Jews were pushed out of Rome and they destroyed the last temple, the temple that Jesus was at, the temple that he actually said, tear down this temple and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. And they're like, it took our forefathers years to build this. There's no way you could do that. They didn't believe him. He was talking about his own body. But I would bet money that you got to go all the way back to 70 AD when the Roman Empire pushed the Jews out and crushed the temple, and that's where the Wailing Wall is.
Yeah.
That like when that happened, I bet you that's where a lot of that shit started, which is crazy to me. It's insane to me. And then I got to add this in because one, I got to credit Andy Frisella. The dude has been right so many times, and if you don't listen to his podcast, where have you been? But the Real AF podcast, I've been listening to it for years. He talked about where he's like, well, what's going to happen is they dump AI on here, and now like you can make anything with AI, and you can make videos, you can make it do whatever you want. To where I could shoot a video, or have it, I could have it make a video with my voice and look like me, and I wouldn't have to do anything. I wouldn't have to shoot any of the video. I could just make it. And I'm like, so now we've got AI thrown on top of it to where they could just go, oh, that's not me, that's AI. Because I can make AI look like a photo. I can make a photo and make it look like it's from the 1980s. So it'd be grainy and look weird. So now, I like we could literally put me in an Epstein file with AI and just be like, well, Nate was part of it, and be like, well, I was, a little kid, but at the same time, it's doable. And now that gives the ability to say, well, that's not me, that's AI. That's not me, that's AI. Plus, people, and this is what I don't like about like that whole right and left thing, is that people can make videos from either side and to make the other side look bad. I was literally just watching, I think my son is very much, it's so funny because he's 21 and he's just like me, and that's a problem because it took me to be 45 before I got like this, and he's already like this at 21. And I'm like, bro, you gotta dial back the anger. You gotta like you know get into it a little bit slower, maybe. I don't know, but he showed me a video. I think it was him of like the streets of New York under Mondani already. There's just trash everywhere, and it's like it only took like 8 weeks to get this much. And I was like, yeah, all right. Do I think what's happening there is a good thing? No. Do I think that this should be happening? No. And in fact, I'm like, okay, our Constitution and the state Constitution, something in the constitutions of the governance of the land should not be allowing this to happen. However, it is. But I don't, I'm like, I couldn't buy right off the front end that all that trash was real. It may very well be real, but there's also been shit tons of snow all through the entire country through here. Um, I heard North Carolina got 11 inches. They haven't had that much snow since 1988. I'm like, well, I don't know if that was a planned snowstorm or not. I'm gonna guess it probably was, but I see all this trash in New York, and I'm like, oh, I think the thing that you have to come back to as a guy against the narrative, as a father against the narrative, is you can't buy it from one side and not the other. You have to be able to go, all right, I'm not a fan of Mamdani and what the communism he's bringing in. However, the the right side of things could be making shit up to make him look bad too, and you can't have that either. To a level where I'm like, I know what's going to happen is social media, in my opinion, and I feel like I've heard Andy Frisella say this, but social media, in my opinion, is probably going to go so AI that people won't trust their eyes anymore, and they'll literally be like, I'm out, I'm off, and they won't believe anything on it, and they'll only believe the interactions that they have personally, and that'll rock us right back to 1980 or 1960, who knows.
Bro, I just said that last night to some friends. I'm like, watch in 10 years. I told my son, I go, he was asking about social media. He's 5 years old. He knows that's how mom and dad kind of market. And I said, in 10 years, bud, I don't think this is going to be around. I think social media is going to be gone. I don't think it's going to be what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing. I think that's a really, really good thing.
Yeah.
And what you're going with Mamdani and all of them, I mean, we've seen the pictures from the Epstein files where it's like he's a kid. Those were fakes. Most of those
Yeah.
were fakes. But his
Yeah.
mom is, the funny part is like those are fakes, but his mom was part of the group. And so like he did grow up in that group, just like when he's out there saying he's against Israel, but all of his money is funded through Soros. And it's like, dude, they're all, and that's the thing, guys. You have to remember these files come out and you're still seeing left and right fight each other. Why aren't we seeing the same thing? It's all a shitstorm. It's the same side. Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, all of them are fucking paid off. They're all part of the system. Every celebrity, most fucking musicians, everything is paid for. Jews own everything. They've owned the music labels for years. We just
Years.
found out rap was totally bullshit. Lots of it. Tupac was part of it.
Yeah.
MLK was part of it. He was paid off from the Mossad. Like there's so much shit as things are coming out. And in the Epstein files, the pandemic was in there. Like it's a pandemic. It was already planned, guys, just like the 2019 plan that they went through in Savos in Switzerland, right? It was like, or Davos, my bad. They did the whole plan. The Agenda 2030 is real. It's coming. They're pushing it. And I just think this is part of the plan, but we have to unite. The most important part is stop seeing Democrats. And don't get me wrong, if they're the far left, yes, they've probably lost their mind. But the far right has done the same fucking thing. They've lost their minds. They're still sticking up and like, they're good. No, they're good. They're good. These people, and their names are dropped 100 times in there. I don't know if they're good, but let's start with they're all fucking bad. and let's sift through until we find out they're good. And if they've kissed the wall, let's just go ahead and assume that they're already paid for, they're bought, and they're part of the fucking problem.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a great way to put that, because that's a comment, like just a great, that's a great way to put that. I don't even need to add to that. Yes, if they've kissed the wall, they're probably part of the problem. And I think you're right. Unfortunately, what I want to say is, and the way I feel about the common man is that um, I grew up in the church, and it was always, we're born sinners, we're born sinners, we're born sinners. And the thing I've come back to, and yes, I know there are scriptures about this, but I'm also like, okay, but God created us, right? So if I was created by this God, it's not, he didn't create me bad. He didn't create man bad. Maybe we went that way or we have this bent, but he gave us choice. So I look at it like that. And so I've come to this point where I'm like, I buck against this whole idea that the common man is like his only thought is evil. I don't believe that. I think that when I look at people, I'm like, the normal human is a good person. Would they probably do something that I would say is not good? Sure. Would they do things to hurt other people on purpose? I don't think so. I don't think that that's the common man. And so really, the issue I take here is that it's like there's a small amount of people. Again, I've heard Andy Frisella say this. I totally agree. There's a group of, let's just say it's 2,000 people running the show on 8 billion. We got it. Like, the hardest part is, instead of looking left and right, it's got to be, and I don't think that they're elite. They think they're elite and above us. So let's just look at it like that. It's not left to right. It's top to bottom. And the bottom is way bigger than the top. And that's not coming from a guy who's like, oh, well, it's the rich. It's not the rich. They might be uber rich, and they might be that, but I don't look at guys that are making multi-million dollars and say, oh, they're part of the problem. It's like they're still little tiny peons compared to the guys that have this kind of money doing what they're doing. It's a very small, minute amount of people pulling strings and doing all this crazy, sick shit that, honestly, if we got wise to it, like, if all of us could get wise enough to go, it's not the guy to my right and left. It's these guys that think they're above us. If we did that, we could probably end it real fast.
Yeah, and it's not all Jews either. So when
Yeah.
I'm saying Jews, guys, it's not all Jews. One of my best friends is Jewish, and I fuck with him all the time. He's one of my best friends. It's not all Jews. It's
Right.
the ones that think they're better than us, that we're just the goyim, that we're just nobodies to them. We're just, ants, and they can just step on us and manipulate us however the fuck they want.
Yeah.
It's those people, the Zionists, maybe it's the Jewish supremacy, like you guys hear me often say. That's what I like to say, so that way I kind of keep it in my head as like the top of the Jewish people. Maybe, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, they control our media, all of it, radios, media, TV, movies. They control all of our food. They make entirely different food kosher for their own people. I mean, you start looking at it and you're like, dude, this has been planned out for a long time. 2026 is going to have kill switches on cars now. Like, where's this all going, right? And maybe all those storms that came through the United States were manufactured. It sure the hell looks that way, with a lot of fake snow and a lot of fake shit. I haven't dug into that, guys, because I didn't get snow. I live in Mexico. But we've been having so much chemtrails every day since December, and everyone around here is like, oh, I don't feel good. I have a cough. My family's the same way. As you hear, my throat's all fucked up. I just came off of it being sick for the last like 4 days too. So it's something's going on where it's like they're just attacking, and maybe it's just to keep us diseased. They also own all the pharmaceuticals. They own all the COVID shots that came out, all the shit that's happening. So it's really hard to live in that kind of system. What I want to say right now is the way we can crash this system is you to do your research on everything you buy. Who fucking owns it? And when you start seeing it, stop supporting it. You're supporting these Satanists by purchasing that shit. And so if you're going to get a bag of chips and you're like, Lay's, well, dig into Lay's. Who owns it? Well, you're going to find out it's going to be Jewish ran, operated, and everything. And then you just go buy chips from a fucking local person instead, right? It's not that difficult, but this is what has to happen. We need to be a little uncomfortable, and that's the problem. They've sold us on comfort. And when you're sold comfort, it's hard to get uncomfortable again. But
Yes.
the only way growth happens anywhere is in the uncomfortable situations, pushing through the struggle. So I can't say this loud enough. Go support local people that you know. Get your meat from a farm. Get your milk. Get
Get
you
raw
know,
milk. Get raw
raw
milk.
fucking milk. I can't, you knew I was going there. Get your fucking raw milk. Look around. There's maps in the United States where it's easy to find, especially like Tennessee, where he lives,
Yeah.
Georgia, where we were living. We went to farms and we found raw milk everywhere. Often it's labeled for animals because they can't put it for human consumption.
Yep.
So, guys, we have to fight back, and that's where we need to start. Where we're purchasing, how we're purchasing, and maybe, if we get that, I heard over 1 million people, or at least 1 million people, not to pay taxes, it's going to really kick back the IRS system.
Mm,
Another thing that we need to fight back, because again, it's operated by Jewish owners.
right. I think right there is a great thing. I was talking with somebody about that, and they're like, "Well, how do we do that?" Well, it's real easy for guys like me. I run a business. All I have to do is just not send money, and I can. I mean, that's the thing I can do. A lot of people that are W-2 workers, or they fill out a W-4. You can adjust your W-4, and I want to make sure that I give this so that people know how to fight back. You filled out your W-4 and you like do your withholdings or whatever. What you do is you tell your employer you need a new W-4 because you need different withholdings, and then you go there and you withhold everything. So you give nothing to you give nothing to the government, and they'll take nothing from your check. What that will do is that will stop kicking money out of your check, and it'll give it all to you. You are then going to have to keep track of stuff if you were to stay that way. My opinion is we just fucking cut the whole shit. And I mean, I think that I understand the form of taxes. And I think this comes back around to that whole concept of our biggest problem is not all these little things that they keep trying to make us mad about, but we should really be focused on this fraud because of how deep it goes, which I got a crazy story about this. I've got to look into it a little further, but it's crazy. Um, but you can, what you can do is you can adjust your W-4 to where you withhold everything. And that just basically means that the government doesn't take money out of your check on the front end. Most people are like, oh, well, I'll say no withholdings. And what that does is that gives them a nice check at tax time. But all you've done is give the government money that they're going to spend and squander and not give you a receipt for, and then they give you money back at the end of it. And if you just got better at learning how to handle money and your finances and saving and investments, you do that on your own. You don't need the government to do that for you and just toss you a check every April or May. But so I think that's where the common person has to start. If you're in the United States and you get you have a W-2 job, you adjust your W-4 so you're not paying taxes. That's how you can do that. Guys like me, we just go because I run a business and I own my own stuff, and so I only pay taxes. I pay taxes on what I earn afterwards, and all I do is just not do that. So that's one way you can do that. But no, dude, I have to tell you this. So all this stuff was Somali fraud, right? Up in Minnesota. And I know Minnesota, I always thought for some reason, Minnesota being way up north, being cold, being a harsh climate, I just figured it was, I don't know why, but I always figured that it was more Republican, more to the right. I had no idea it was such a blue state. And I've never been there, so I've never paid attention. However, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and there is a huge Somali population there as well. And so when all this stuff was coming out, I started thinking about it. I'm like, hey, wait, we have Somali refugees in Columbus. My own dad owns, and I'm probably outing him, I don't know, but my father owns a building. I worked on this building, no joke, when I lived there. And he had Somali people there that they ended up having a market, and then we ended up putting in a mosque. There's a daycare there, and there's some kind of trucking company. I went and looked it up on a map because I don't talk to my dad a lot now, um, and so I didn't want to just be like, "Hey, Dad, you should go check this out." I wanted to look, dude. They have a trucking company, no trucks, no bays, no trucks, nothing ever at that building. I mean, I've mowed that grass. I've been there. I've worked. There is no place to park big trucks or dock big trucks at all at this building. And as soon as I heard that, I looked at my wife and I was like, "How much money you want to bet there's no kids in that daycare at my dad's facility?" And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so insane! It's insane."
I mean, it goes so deep. It's so deep that I think most people can't fathom really how deep it is. Like it's like saying, oh, that person has $1 billion. Most people can't fathom what $1 billion is. That's $999 million. When someone's like, oh, Trump was born with it. No, he took $1 million and he turned it into a billion. That's like taking a dollar and turning it into a million. It's
Yeah,
insane. People
dude.
don't realize like the vastness of it, man. It's just wild.
Yeah.
And what's going on? I mean, the Somalians were all tied together. I mean, it's so, what's her name? Ilhan Omar. She is just like so corrupt, married to her brother. She should be kicked out of the fucking country. Anyone like that should be removed right away. And that's a whole nother thing going on too, guys, is the whole ICE thing. This is not like our normal ICE either. And I'm for deportation. By if you came in illegally and you're living illegally, I believe you should be deported. I don't believe you should be killed and murdered and cold-blooded, but there's a lot of Mossad tactics going on right now. But also, let's not forget, when we grew up, Nate, in the 80s, no one would just go up to fucking law enforcement and fucking punch them, throw shit at them. But politicians are telling the citizens to rise up against ICE, throw shit at them. So what's going to happen is if like, you do that, then I do believe that the law enforcement has the right to shoot you in the face. You
Yeah.
can't be fucking doing that. But
Yeah.
ICE also can't be just jumping out of cars and fucking up people either. I agree with that. So I'm on both. I'm not taking one side. That's what I'm saying is like so many people are like, you have to be on the right or the left. No, it's fucking wrong to kill people if you're ICE and that you're just naturally murdering people. That's wrong. But if you are provoking them and you're throwing shit, you deserve it. That's what you deserve for being a dumbass and being a total moron, starting shit with law enforcement, which what kind of parents did you have that they couldn't set a fucking foundation and say, hey, if a cop pulls you over, yes, no, sir, ma'am, politeness, this is when it fucking counts. This is when all your matters that we taught you count. They count when the police pull you over. They count when the judge is talking to you. Like, what is going on that people think they have the right to just attack any law enforcement? It's insanity that's going on. And it's designed. It's all designed.
It is. It's crazy. I will say, like, and I know, again, I feel like we jump, but at the same time, there's so much.
There
But
is.
this Alex Preddy situation, the number one thing I said to my son is, I was like, I looked at him and I was like, imagine trying to do your job. Like when we were putting lights up, my number one frustration was that we would be working and I play Christmas music, which that might be annoying to a lot of people, but it's like you're getting in the mood and it's not Christmas yet, so people are getting there. But my biggest frustration, and I started noticing it, was when we're doing these big houses, there'd be guys mowing the lawns next door. And obviously it's fall, so there's leaves everywhere. So the second half of what they're doing is just blowing leaves and blowing stuff. Dude, they would be blowing stuff for hours. So you hear that engine going, wee, and I'd get off the roof and be like, I'm going to kill somebody. Like, I'm going to go fucking insane right now because the fucking sound of those blowers was just constant for an hour, hour and a half. It was insane, right? And I said to him, I said, you remember that? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, now imagine you're trying to do even a desk job and someone's just standing there blowing a fucking whistle in your ear the whole goddamn time. Like, I watched the Alex Preddy situation and my wife was in another room and she's like, what the fuck are you watching? And I was like, is it the whistles? She's like, yeah, that's the most annoying sound I've ever heard. And I'm like, yeah, so these guys are trying to do their job and people are blowing whistles all over them. It's already high intensity. And I think you can probably speak to this better from your military experience. But it's not like you go out there and you're not on high alert. You already know you're going to have resistance. Now you have the added resistance of fucking psychos that are getting in your way and blowing whistles and spitting on you and all these other things that, again, I'm with you. Like, where did you think that that was a good idea? And so you already have all this high intensity. And then you have a negligent discharge of a weapon, which that 6-hour P320, I've heard it's like 4 years of like that dude. If he was carrying a gun, if he was a guy that knows his guns, he'd be like, I'm not carrying this gun because it could go off in my ass. Like literally some of this stuff I was like, what? But negligent discharge, these guys are already on high alert. There's whistles everywhere. And now a gun goes off. Dude, I can't say this. I mean, I want to have compassion for a guy. He lost his life. But at the same time, you've been agitating and agitating and agitating. Now they found you with a gun. and then a gunshot goes off. Everybody's already on high alert. Like, I'm not surprised the dude got shot so many times.
No, I mean, this is what happens when you turn society virtuous and everyone's a fucking victim. Because when we went to Afghanistan, I was a private and I still remember exactly what I was fucking taught. Hey, you give them alert. Hey, stop right there. They come closer, push. Next one, you can take your fucking muzzle and fucking drill them in the chest.
Which
That's
fucking.
that's three warnings they've already got. The fourth one, we're shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And let's remember, soldiers don't shoot to fucking like hurt you. We shoot to kill.
That's exactly right.
And
Yeah.
so I've never been in that kind of high intensity what a lot of these ICE guys are doing because this creation of fucking politicians that are just pushing the narrative. And you have to remember, like these fucked up people that are going and attacking ICE or any law enforcement, their social medias are probably just the algorithm is just all this shit is like they are so virtuous. They're on God's mission. They believe that. They have
Mm-hmm.
now sold their soul to this mission. Their identity is the politics. So it's really difficult situation, man. I mean, if someone came at me, fuck, and you're already in this situation where people are blowing whistles and it's just going on and on. Again, guys, I've been in some tough situations. Nothing like this. It's you lose control of who you are, even.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you're supposed to train, right? It's muscle memory. But
Right.
in those situations, everything's nuance. So
Yeah.
it's like they're trying to get you to do that. So they look like the bad person. So ICE looks like the bad person. So you got what you wanted. The result happened. That's what you guys wanted. You wanted someone to be fucking murdered
Yeah.
over and over again. So ICE looks so bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying ICE is right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying what people are doing is wrong to provoke them. And ICE, like I said, I've read a lot about how they're being sent over to Mossad and learning Mossad tactics on our own fucking people. That's
Yeah.
absolutely wrong. And we're making the streets of America look worse than Afghanistan when I was there. And I was all over Afghanistan from the north to the south. And it wasn't that bad, actually, Nate. It was not
Yeah.
that bad. The people were peaceful. And
Yeah.
most of the time, you have to worry about IEDs and small
Yeah.
arms fire. So they would never. And people think of like Afghanistan, you think of like, oh, these people are fucking Neanderthals. They fucking live in caves and they don't know how to fucking behave. Well, it looks like the Americans, especially the ones that are attacking law enforcement, are the Neanderthals that don't know how to behave. And it's like,
Yeah.
how the fuck did this just flip flop?
Yeah.
And it's just years of progression, right? Slowly but surely. And like we've said, it's been attack, probably since 1492 or before. So it's like, of course they're able to divide everybody.
Yeah.
Of course. It wasn't hard. You just slowly throw shit in there. You throw in a Rodney King here. You throw in a George Floyd here. You throw in a Martin Luther King and Malcolm X over here. You throw in women's rights. You throw in brown rights. It's like, why aren't we just all Americans? What the fuck happened? We're all Americans. And remember growing up, my neighbors, I can't tell you if they were conservative or liberal at all. I can tell you about the guy with the Jesus sign that I always told you about. But besides that, like, I didn't know anyone that went by, I'm liberal or conservative. No one fucking went by that. And matter of fact, our friends would come over. No one really cared about politics. They talked bullshit. They drank some beers. They ate food. They had good laughs. And there's love. The most important emotion that we have is love. And it's like what they're doing is removing love from people.
Yeah.
And it's like the only way we can fight back is love, by uniting, being love-centered. And guys, maybe this is hard for a lot of men to hear when like me and Nate get into like the emotional side, but love is the most powerful fucking emotion there is. And when you remove that, you're hollow. And so it's like you have a lot of these hollow fucking people that are just like, they've lost their fucking minds. They've lost control. They're in the algorithm. They're virtuous. They're fucking victims now. And they want to make a point. Well, how that ends is bad every fucking time. Every fucking time that ends bad. I'm sorry. No matter if ICE is doing bad shit, you can't provoke bad shit that's already happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it's funny because I've tried to go back through and I know that I'm going back to what I was taught about World War II. So just to understand that, even though I know there's some major differences, but ICE has been pushed towards like and been called like the Gestapo, and I have tried to like put myself back there in my own mind to be like, okay, um, like what would I do in that situation? And even then, the Gestapo was so bad, they would sooner shoot you than listen to you or any of the like. If you went up and spit on one of the Gestapo, they'd probably just shoot you right there in the street, based on what I know from what I was taught back in the day. And so when I think about it, I'm like, at some point, if the government is doing wrong things, the people are required to rise up and be like, whoa, 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 including the men and women in blue. They should be able to look at that and go, these orders are not just, and I will not like. My job is to protect the Constitution and the rights of the people. I work for them. And unfortunately, I think it's at points they just go, well, I was just following orders. And I think that's where you get the wrong side on our men and women in blue, when you're dealing with them going, well, I'm just following orders. Well, if orders are wrong, you have to still be a human. So you have to be able to go, okay, that order is actually infringing upon the rights of the people in our country, and we're just not going to do it, right? Like, you have to be able to do that, or you're not any better than these agitators that are possibly paid agitators. You're not any better than they are. You're just doing the same thing, and it's just the opposite side.
Integrity is gone, bro. And I mean, as most of you probably listen to the show know that I was removed from the military because I wouldn't take the COVID vaccine. I made that argument. It's unconstitutional, and I make a constitutional oath. So my oath is to the Constitution and to the president as an officer of the United States Army. So when I did that, it doesn't mean I have to follow orders that are unjust. It's my job to say they're unjust. And I did that with the COVID vaccine. I'm like, all of these are arbitrary as fuck, and you guys are just making it up as you go, and there's no real fucking regulations to any of it.
Right.
And so, but how many people did that? I was the only officer in my entire brigade that fought back. Two other ones retired at the same time, so they were lucky they fought back, but they retired.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different ballgame. But I refused the vaccine, and I was by myself.
I think, yeah, and that's the hard part is, we say I was just talking about this with my wife, but in the United States, we say that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and that's kind of a good thing. You got to speak up, you got to be loud to get the attention. And in Japan, they say the nail that sticks up gets pounded, but there's a different connotation there. It's like, don't stick out, don't be the one that's loud, because you get beat back into place. Sometimes I feel like you need to be a nail, and sometimes I feel like there are people out there that they're sticking up for the wrong things, and they probably need to get pounded down. At the same time, there's people that are squeaky wheels that don't deserve any oil either. You know what I mean? It's like and my statement there is that you have to be wise and willing to be the guy that's all alone, just like you were. You were all alone in that situation. But it was long ago. We're talking about. I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, it wasn't long ago when the left side of things was saying, well, we're going to come to your house and force the jab. And I remember being like, it's going to go real bad for you in this area, especially in this house. If you come to my house to jab my children, I can tell you this, it's going to end with a lot of blood. That's what I can tell you. I was like, I hope they don't do that, because I don't want to have to start shooting people trying to get in my house, but I will. Yeah. And my son and I were talking about that. I'm like, you've got, the left was trying to come into people's houses at one point and force something, and now they're against that. And that's not the left and the right. That's someone pulling all the strings up top. That's what's crazy, is that no one remembers that stuff.
And that's why we have to wake up to. I mean, well, you have to remember too, like all those people that told me to get the vaccine, all those people that told me to wear a mask, and I refused to wear a mask. I refused all of it. I thought it was bullshit from the beginning.
Yep.
All of them, not a damn one has apologized to anyone.
No.
None of them. Because they became virtuous with their vaccine. Remember, you get free fries or free donut or any of this fucking crazy shit. They could have seen it right then and there. It just shows you we were dumbed down long ago. And that's through vegetable oils or seed oils, and through our food, through our water, through the air that they're spraying. Everything's fucking chemicals everywhere, heavy metals. And I made a reel actually yesterday, and I'm not sure if you've seen it. And it was what I talked about. Why would we start a baby with injections right when they come out of the womb? Why would we do that? Well, if we have pure Christ consciousness when we come out, which is that God says we are like him, right? We are the same. So what can we do? We can fuck up the babies right away. Then we could mutilate them, right? Cut off the foreskin and make them cry. Now they're so shocked already. Then let's try to get them not to get breastfed and get them heavy metal baby formula. What are we doing? We're already setting them up for a life of disease.
Yeah.
So now they've lost their Christ consciousness.
Yep.
Now they've lost their purpose and meaning that God gave them when they came here. That all our job as parents is to kind of allow our kids to find that and
Yep.
help them find that purpose, that meaning. They know what it is. Just allow them to do it. But it's our job to keep them safe and clean in the environment, perfect and happy and loved. But if you inject them right away, you can fuck them up. And I'm a true believer. That's a big reason they started the vaccines. And that's a big reason people, when first vaccines came out, they're saying it's snake oil. Don't fucking touch it. It's poison, blah, blah, blah. Article after article after article. But people don't want to look and research at all. They just want to believe their doctor. But like I tell everyone on all my reels, you're the best doctor for your children. There's not a damn doctor in this world that's going to know your children better than you.
Yeah.
So it's like, when did we just give all of our fucking power away? Everything was for the comfort. It was like, oh, the doctor would tell me. Again, we're going right back to comfort, guys.
Yeah.
You have to get uncomfortable. I delivered my second son at home. And do you think that was easy? Heck no, it wasn't easy. It was difficult as can be. And it's like, no, I wasn't just going to say, oh, I can make this super easy and go ahead and, take him to the doctor, let the doctor do it. But I already seen that with my first son. I saw exactly what they did, brought him in with those blue lights, got him fucking dysregulated. He's crying. Instead, let's change up the narrative. Let's see what's harder. Was this scary for me? Fuck, Nate. I've never been so scared in my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm so scared in my entire life. But after that was over, and I know you could talk on this too, you're so empowered that you're like, fuck, why would I even go another way? No wonder for thousands of years they did it at home. For thousands of years they slept with their kids. Instead of like, look at all the shit that they do to babies. Put them in a crib, get them in another room, inject them. It's taking away their Christ consciousness. That's what I believe now, dude.
Yeah. Then separate them from their parents at 6 weeks so their parents can go back to work.
Yeah.
And all the shit we do to like, and I mean, that's the thing is children of the future. So if we get them early, the earlier we get them, the easier it is to manipulate whatever. I mean, dude, you want to know something that's crazy is that my youngest he just walked up and looked at me and then he walked off. He's hanging out with his old, so it's my bookends, right? My 21-year-old is watching my 1-year-old, but he just walked up and I think about it. He sleeps in our bed every once in a while, still to this day. And we don't tell them they can't. We did get a couch in our room. That way the bigger boys, the 10 and the 9-year-old, if there's no room, we can be like, yeah, we'll just hit the couch. They don't have to leave the room. We don't have to tell them no. They can just sleep on the couch. And they both have shown up on the couch, like facing opposite directions at the same time. So it works. But every once in a while, my 5-year-old will crawl in there. But that little dude will whimper. And I can literally, like, it'll wake me up enough that I'm awake enough to see what's going on. I can grab him. I pull him right to me. And I go, I got you, buddy. And then you know how many times he whimpers for like 2 seconds. I do that and we're back to sleep. Like, this whole cry it out thing is insane to me. I watched him the other day. Like, he was having a real hard time. I don't even remember what it was for, but he was pissed the fuck off. And he was letting everybody know that he didn't like it. Screaming, yeah, nothing would work. I sat down and I just held my hands down. I'm like, come here, man. It's okay. No! And he's laying there screaming. And as that progressed, I mean, it was a while. As it progressed, I was like, this isn't good for you. Like, I literally, in the middle of it, I stood up and I grabbed him and I said, buddy, this is not good for you. Your body can't handle your emotions. And so I pulled him close to me. And what I do is I grab him, like, usually they're over one side, he's over one side. And I pulled his heart over mine. And I was like, use me. You're going to use me to regulate your body. Dude, inside of a 30-second window from the psychosis that was happening on the floor over however much time, because he didn't want me to pick him up, I grabbed him, pulled his heart close to mine, and inside of 30 seconds, it went in half. And inside of 2 minutes, he was breathing normally and chill. And I was like, when we do this whole like, yeah, we're just gonna let them cry in the bed alone, they can't regulate that. And I looked at my wife later and I was like, I, I I just got to witness what happens in the dark at night when parents just leave their little ones away from like, no, I'm not going to go get him. I'm going to make him cry it out, and he can just stay there. Like, it breaks my heart to think about that because his little body could not handle it. And when your kid stops crying, it's not because they're like, oh, I'm self-soothing. They don't do that. When your kid stops crying, it's because they have worn their body out and they have nothing else to do but to pass out, totally dysregulated and in my opinion, fucked up at that point. Not forever, but just in that moment. And dude, I'm living proof. All it takes is 2 seconds. He moves and cries. I grab him, slide his whole body towards my chest, and he just snuggles in like, "Oh, Dad's got me." I even say it out loud. "I got you, buddy," and it's over. It's
It's the same.
and they like it's taken from us simply by saying, and dude, I love how all of it's integrated. All of it comes back to, we literally are coming right back to feminism right here, which was also started by we know who. But like right there, they took mama from baby at 6 weeks. They're like, oh, we'll give you 8 weeks of maternity leave at the most. And we take mama out of it. And now we're like, everything is for the convenience of the person. It's for comfort, right? Babies are uncomfortable. Like, they're hard to deal with. So we want comfort. So we're going to let the cry it out method work. They're uncomfortable and it hurts to nurse. And I know I'm a dude, so I don't have any clue. I just know that my wife has gone through stuff where she's like, this fucking hurts my nipples like crazy, and it's like, it hurts, so it's uncomfortable. So we'll just bottle feed. And if you can't nurse, or if your wife can't nurse, I totally get that. That's totally different. You've tried and you've tried and you've tried and nothing has worked. You got to feed the kid. That makes total sense. This is not about that. This is where you just want it because you want the comfort. We outsource everything, and then we don't know why our kids don't follow in our footsteps and don't think the way we think or know what we know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 100% with you. And again, guys, as you saw, this all came in full circle. We hit all these current events, and it still comes back to family. It comes back to how we parent, how we're raising the next generation, how we're breaking generational patterns and curses. We have to do the fucking work. The work is not easy. And I know the other day I was texting Nate. I'm like, my wife had to wean our baby at 20 months. Our first son, he breastfed till after 4 years old. And it's like she was going and going, but the kid wouldn't let go. He's on the nipple all night. She couldn't sleep. 2 months of that, and she was fed up. So it's been 2 hard weeks of like weaning him. He's doing good, but he's never slept more than 3 hours straight, 4 hours ever in 20 months.
That's
And
hard.
still, like it says, like on my watch, I've slept pretty much 3 to 4 hours a night for the last 2 weeks. It's been wild. But guess what? I wake up, I work out, I wake up, I play with my kids, I wake up, I homeschool. I still am going after it. And same thing, when our kids are dysregulated, it's our job to regulate them. So we need to have systems in place that teach us to regulate our own nervous system. So we can teach our kids that, so they're not in the fucking place where they're so dysregulated that they go out and do some stupid shit like get in ISIS face and then get shot in the face. That's fucking retarded. I mean, that is absolutely fucking retarded that parents would even allow that. Like, what did you do to your kid? And then the thing is so many parents have disengaged in being a parent because they've wanted comfort or go back to work. Like, how many women have I heard be like, I just can't wait to get back to work. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? You can't wait to get back to work. What about, I can't wait to raise the fucking baby properly. What about that? I can't wait to love my kid. I can't wait to hear the first words. I can't wait to see them crawl or walk or run. Like, what the hell kind of world do we live in where that's okay to say out loud?
Yeah.
Where it's okay to say, best fed is just being fed. No, breastfed is the fucking best. That's it, period. And there's no chest feeding. It's breastfeeding. Moms fucking do it. It's all fucking retarded. I can't believe people would say that dumb shit. And it's not, they all should be fed. Yes, they should, obviously, motherfuckers. But who do you think made up these sayings? It's the CIA puts these sayings in. Conspiracy theories came from CIA. All this shit comes from our governments to distort us and separate us. So let's get back to the basics of loving our kids and raising them ourselves that are fucking straight and narrow. Hey, you are loved. Let's start with that. Let's start with mom and dad are going to deliver you at home. It could be scary, but you can have a doula. You can have all kinds of people around you coaching you and helping you. It's the
Yeah,
same as the hospital almost, actually.
dude, you're not like you're so right. Like I know you delivered your little one, like just you guys. It was just you guys, or did you have a doula too? Great. I asked
Just
probably.
us. Just
Yeah,
us.
right. So I have literally all right. So again, previously married. So my first two born in the hospital, both C sections. My ex wife had like a heart shaped uterus and Zeke attached in a weird spot, and so he started to pull away, and it like aged the placenta so that like it wasn't getting him oxygen. He never would have made it out of the womb if he didn't have that, right? Didn't have a C-section. Then usually they say you should come back with that. But my daughter had serious brain issues. She has a Dandy Walker cyst. So the best move was to do a C-section. However, there's a whole other life there, a whole other story there. But with Meg, we when we got pregnant with Finley, she was like, I'm scared. But that's because all the shit she was told. I remember going through classes with our friend who was a doula or is a doula, and by the time we were done with that time with her, I was like, we should just have this baby at home. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's just do it at home. She was scared because it was her first, so we had him in the hospital. 33 hours of just fucking insanity. Like it was nothing like what we wanted. And after that, she was like, we're having babies at home. I caught Wyatt and then he shit in my hand. It was like the funnest thing ever. I'm like, that's my favorite story with him. It's like, I caught you. And then you're like, hey, dad. And just like meconium in my hand. Um, and then Luna was born in the tub right there. And then Kelsey was also born in the tub. It's like, I mean, honestly, to have another one, I'd be like, we don't need anybody. We're good. I got this. I mean, I can catch him. I can do it. Meg can do it. We already know she can. It's always going to be nerve wracking. That's the thing. But,
Always.
but you don't need all that crazy light, all the take it. Like the first thing they do is rip the baby away. I mean, when they took Finn, they just took him away from her. They cut the cord. They like walked over. They start poking, prodding, fucking with him. We didn't do any vaccines on him. Unfortunately, I still regret this, but I think we talked about this before, but we circumcised him. And like we didn't Wyatt after that. You just learn. I've actually said to Finn, I'm sorry, buddy. I learned more after you were born. That's just the way it is. I thought
Same.
you should look like me. That way, if you ever had questions, I could answer them. But now I don't know what I'm talking about with Wyatt. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Pull it back. Make sure you wash it. I don't know what's going on
Right.
with that
Oh,
shit. But
that's programming. That's all programming.
hey,
Oh, don't you want your kid to look like you? Why are we circumcising? We don't even ask the question why.
yeah,
Like, why aren't we asking that more often? Why
sure.
are we giving our kids Skittles? Why are we giving them red dye still? Why are we going to McDonald's when they could possibly be serving us human meat? Why are we? It's like, why don't we ask why? Kids do. And then we just tell them the same stuff we were programmed with. So now you injected your kid, you're programmed the exact same way, and you expect them to be better than you?
Yeah, yeah. Or and not be unfortunately not be worse because progress. That's the thing. You said we've progressed so far, and I'm like, that's what's crazy is the leftist idea is progressive. And I'm like, well, yeah, but progress for progress sake or progress for whatever reason, it just kind of feels like we're trying to make it sound good. Oh, we're progressive. Yeah, man, I'm okay with some of the stuff. Like, we don't need to just chuck the baby out with the bathwater. Sounds to me like they'd rather kill the baby before it got out into the water. But it's like that whole concept of making progressives. Well, we're progressives. Nah, maybe we got to like hold on to some things and be a little bit more traditional instead. Maybe traditional
Right?
better move.
Luckily for that side, they don't like kids or want to have babies, so that will just wean itself out. It's like,
It's
yeah,
true.
it's crazy, guys. And as we're wrapping this up, I just want you to remember, like, we did talk about current events. We did hit those current events, but again, like me and Nate always talk about, it always comes back to what are we doing at home? How
Mm,
are we changing the system at home? And that is where it counts. Like for me, I get people in my DMs all the fucking time. Every week I get some asshole who's like, you're not even American. You live in Mexico. Motherfucker, I served my motherfucking country. I can live wherever the fuck I want. Matter of fact, when I was in service, they had me in Germany 5 years. Does that mean I wasn't American? Like,
yeah.
what the fuck are you talking about? So it doesn't mean anything. What I did is I got uncomfortable because America was getting so fucked up. I saw the writing on the wall. I didn't want to raise my kids in that kind of environment. I didn't want them to be around people that talk about politics all the time. I didn't want them to be in a fucking place where kids are stolen 400,000 a year in the United States, the most by far. Like,
Yeah.
you think I want my kids to be raised like that? No. I thought about my childhood, and I actually had a great childhood in the 80s. And I said, man, I could go to my neighbors, knock on their door, talk to them. My son's 5 years old. He does that here. He goes across the fucking way, knocks on doors at the park. We just let him be because there's no problem with children. Children are watched after in Mexico. 100%. You do not need to worry about your children here in Mexico. Maybe by the border, but we don't live by the border. When you hear anything bad about Mexico, it's 98% of the time is fucking right on the border. The other 2% is on the coasts. Okay. I live in Central and it's fucking absolutely great for children. It's great for families. No one talks politics. No fucking Mexicans would ever go up to each other and be like, dude, you conservative, you liberal. Maybe in Mexico City, but that's it. And not even all of Mexico City. But like, that's it, guys. They don't talk that down here. I saw that. And when I came here, I wanted to stay. And now we have a life that is very present, very conscious, very intentional. And I get to be and show up the best way and the best version of myself every single day for my kids. Because that is what became the most important is my legacy and their life. How is that going to look in a fucking world that's crazy? Well, if they're grounded, they're regulated, and they're fucking conscious and intentional, they don't have to worry about all that craziness. Instead, that's just fucking noise, and they can continue on their mission that God gave them. And that's
Right.
how I look at it. And that's why we want to talk current events, because sometimes you can get so deep into current events that makes you upset or mad, like Nate was talking about in the beginning of the show. But do you want your kids to see that? No. Get it out, get rid of it, and get back to the right way of living. And that's all I got to say for this episode, guys. Thanks for being with us. Nate, you got the final word, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I can't agree any more than I do with you, but it's so fun to do this with you because it's like crazy that we live. It's crazy that we came from very similar places. We live totally different lives, but at the same time, we come back to the same concepts over and over again. And I agree with you, man. It's crazy how we can talk current events and it will always come back around to family. That's not because you and I are. It might be partially because we're conscious about that part of our lives. However, there's a lot to be said about the fact that a lot is fixed and a lot is can be figured out if we just focus on self. Okay, I need my body to feel good, so I need to like work out, feed it right, take care of it. I need my mind to be right, so work it out by reading and seeing what goes in. Like I remember a song that was like, oh, be careful little eyes what you see, oh, be careful little ears what you hear, and all that stuff. And it was like, yeah, that makes total sense. I used to think it was just because I was supposed to only think about Jesus all the time, because it was something we sang in church. But the truth is, it's all the time. And if we focus on what we put in, you put good in, you get good out. You put garbage in, you get garbage out. And if too many people do that, we get a garbage culture, and that's what we're looking at right now. So now it's just how do we rewind that? It's a bunch of men saying, I'm not going to live this life. I'm going to raise my children in a way that they put good in, so we get good out. We get strong men, strong and powerful dudes who are masculine and not afraid to step up in the face of danger and or powers that are doing the wrong thing. And we'll see a total different change. I think that if we're going to focus on anything, it's got to be self and then calling into accountability and getting away from comfort.
Hell yeah. All right, bro. Great show. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think down in the comments on YouTube, or just leave some comments and reviews, ratings, and share the show. That's the only way we grow, guys. Have a good one. Later.
Peace.